Good morning, it is Wednesday the 5th of March. It's just coming up to 11:30 and I'm just about to head off out. Hopefully I'm going to be staying out until about 5 o'clock, thereabouts. So yeah, let's see if it is an improvement on yesterday, which was about £5.50 an hour I believe. So yeah, I'll update you shortly and let you know how I'm getting. So a little update, I'm back at home. So I have been out all day, to be honest. I just haven't had a chance to do an update. It's now 4 o'clock, so I've been out 4.5 hours. It's been busy-ish. It's been ticking over a hell of a lot better than yesterday. But what I decided today was, I thought, you know what, just basically any job that comes up, I'm going to accept it. You know, and basically be a donkey just to see what happens. I mean, within reason. You know, I think there's like 2 or 3 jobs I didn't accept because they were ridiculous. One was like £3.50 and it was going to take like 25 minutes to do the job, so obviously I didn't do that one. But I just thought, you know what, whatever pops up, I'm just going to take it, and I'm just going to go to whatever town that takes me to, and then I'm going to hang around that town and I'm just going to keep doing them jobs. And that's exactly what I've done. So as soon as I started, came on, I think it was just after past, about 10 minutes later I got a job. It was Burscough going over to Skelmersdale, £7.16. It was a 6.5 mile job, so basically £1 a mile, and it took 15 minutes. Straight after that I then got a Skelmersdale to Wigan. So that was £8.76. That was a 15-minute job, and that was 7.5 miles again. So then that took me into Wigan. I was then in Wigan, and I got a Wigan to Wigan, £4.28. It was a 10-minute job for 2.1 miles. So that was pretty much the first hour. So that was like, what, 15... It was like 20 quid, thereabouts in the first hour, not too bad. I then got a Wigan going over to Skelmersdale. Picked the guy up, he worked for DHL, set off, got all the way through all this traffic. There was all temporary traffic lights just by his house, so we just got all the way through them. And he goes, oh, am I okay to get out here? And I was like, I said, if you want, like I said, you're not like a prisoner or anything. And he just started laughing. He was like, oh no, I forgot my boots. I said, well, you don't need to get out. I said, if you just out of stock, we can go back to yours, get your boots and then carry on. And he was like, all right, I'll do that then. So he added the stop back to his house. We had to do a 3-point turn and then queue through all the bloody traffic again. So originally it was like, I think it was like £11 job. And it was, I think it was supposed to take like 25 minutes or something. For roughly like £1 a mile. But then obviously because we've had to go back and he's adjusted it, I think it added on like another £3. So it ended up being £14.59, and the job took 34 minutes. A lot of that we were just sat in traffic, to be honest. And that was 11.6 miles. So I dropped him off, and then I was in Skelmersdale, and then just as I dropped him off, I got a job which was an XL, which was Ormskirk to Burscough. But I was like, I don't know, it was like, I think it took me like a good 10 minutes to drive back from Skelmersdale to Ormskirk. But it was £9.17, 10-minute job, and it was going 3.1 miles. But then, like I said, I've probably done 3 miles going there. So I picked them up. They were going to a crematorium over in Burscough. Dropped them off, and then got a job which was back in Ormskirk. That was £5.41. 7 minutes for 3.9 miles. It wasn't that far. It says Maghull. I didn't even realise it was classed as Maghull. It was basically just jumped on the bypass, and it was just kind of the outskirts of Ormskirk. Dropped there off. I then had a job back in Ormskirk again. It was going from the hospital, Ormskirk Hospital, to Southport Hospital. So it was £12.96 doing 7.8 miles, and it took 24 minutes. It was a bit of a pain. When I turned up, I took a screenshot of it. So I can only assume that the hospital are using Uber for patient transfers. the other guy was still in the car, you see, so then as soon as he got out and I swiped, a message then popped up, obviously for that job, and it says, message from trip coordinator, passenger has an appointment. Please arrive at the specified please arrive at time specified to collect passenger, thank you. So I was like, alright. So I mean, I've done a booking like that, but that was ages ago, but it didn't come up like that. And then when I arrived, another message automatically popped up and said, please call the rider when you arrive. So I gave them a call. This woman answered, and she was like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm just checking out a hospital, I'll be there in a couple of minutes. So I waited the 3 minutes, the 2 minutes chargeable time went, been and gone. I ended up waiting 6 minutes in the chargeable time, plus obviously the 3 minutes. So yeah, it was coming up to 9, and I'd said to myself as it was ticking away, because I always cancel after the 2 minutes of chargeable time. I think I can't be bothered. But I thought, you know what, she's in a hospital, I don't know, some little old dude is going to come walking out here, and then I thought I'm going to feel proper bad like. So anyway, she come out just before the 6 minutes, because I said to myself I'll cancel it if it gets to 6 minutes chargeable time. So she gets in, and then I was like, you know, like I hate going into detail if you're picking people up from hospitals and stuff, you know, just in case like they're having a really bad day. So she was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to they transferred me over to Southport Hospital. So I was like, alright. So I drove all the way down there, and then as I was dropping her off, she was like, oh, is this all paid for? And I was like, yes, I just booked it. She was like, oh, the hospital's done it for me. I was like, alright. She said, so when I'm coming back later on after my appointment, do I contact you, or do I speak to the hospital again? And I said, oh no, it'll just be the hospital. So yeah, it looks like the, you know, basically the hospitals in Lancashire are using Uber for patient transfers, because that's obviously easier than using, you know, you obviously used to see like the little ambulances as such. They're not ambulances, they're just like patient transfer ambulances, but it's obviously easier for and cheaper for them just to get an Uber to take them. So yeah, I dropped her off, and then I started heading back towards Ormskirk, because I thought I'm not hanging around Southport, because the other day it was dead, you know, when I was on like that £5.50 an hour. And then as I was coming into Ormskirk, I got an Ormskirk job, £6.07, 7 minutes, going 2.7 miles. I then got another Ormskirk job, which was just going over to the university. It was going from a school. There was a girl who was training. She's obviously studying, but she was on placement in one of the schools. So that was bang on, like 3:30, so I had to pull up. It was a bit of a pain to pick her up from one of the schools. That was £4.62, 8 minutes, 1.6 miles. And then I had another job, which was back at the crematorium, which was obviously one of the people who'd been, you know, to the same one where I dropped the family off previously. That was a slightly shorter trip. It was £7.41, 12 minutes for 3.6 miles. And then what was the other one? That must have been that other job. I done Periscope. Sorry, I got them two mixed up. The one before it was the crematorium. That last one was an Ormskirk, which got me to Bersco, which got me a good way of the good part of the way home, which is where I wanted to be. I'll just pause this a sec. One sec. Yeah, sorry about that, family. Yeah, so the 4.5 hours came to just over £80, which works out at about £17.77 an hour for the 4.5. I thought it was a little bit higher. That's because I've been given like £8 strategy holiday or something. I've done 3 hours 25 driving. What's the mileage that I've done? I've plugged it in now because I finished. I'm getting like 3.1 miles per kilowatt, which is good because of the weather. So I've done like 80 miles or something, so I've probably still got like a third of a tank left. So I could have stayed out for like another 2.5 hours, I reckon. So yeah, that's obviously improving going into the coming into the summer months when it's getting a bit warmer. Is there anything drastically that I don't think I took any screenshots? No, the final one when I logged off, It was £80.43 I got. Trips offered 13, trips completed 10. So yeah, all in all, not too bad of a day, better than it was yesterday. But yeah, I've been here, there and everywhere, you know, from quite a big radius. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems to be, I've done more miles than I'd normally do. But then, I don't know, it's hard to compare it, because obviously yesterday was just a write-off. But yeah, it just seems like I've probably done about 80 miles and I've done £80, haven't I? So it's almost like £1 a mile, isn't it? But granted, some of that has been, well, I'd say probably a quarter of that at least has been running to the jobs, hasn't it? So yeah, not too bad. Maybe it's a different thing to try, which is being maybe less picky. I mean, to be fair, I'm not that picky. I don't cherry pick. I don't just sit there and go no, 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 no. But like some of the jobs that I've accepted today, where it was like going to Skelmersdale, it's rare I would take that because you don't get anything really coming back. And then I took a job from there going into Wigan, which again I wouldn't normally take unless it was like a Friday or Saturday night maybe, but like not on a weekday. But I've kind of I've had enough really to bounce around for the day, which has kept me reasonably busy, to be fair. So yeah, all in all, not too bad of a day, and I will be back out again tomorrow, and I'll probably do something similar, maybe a few more hours. So I'll catch you tomorrow.